Jake Morrison stood in the center of the huge round room. The walls were made of some strange blue metal that seemed to glow. Around him sat creatures from dozens of different worlds. Some looked like giant birds with sharp beaks. Others were covered in thick shell-like skin. A few floated in water tanks because they could not breathe air. This was the Galactic Council. Jake was the only human in the room. He had been Earth's voice here for 3 long years. 3 years of trying to make friends with aliens who did not trust humans. 3 years of explaining why his people were not monsters. 3 years of being treated like children who might break something important. Today was different. Today they would vote on whether humans could stay in the council or not. The tall crystal creature at the front of the room stood up. Its name was Zexithara, and it spoke for all the other aliens. Light moved through its body like water as it talked. "We are here to make a final choice about the humans," Zexithara said. Its voice sounded like breaking glass. "For 3 years they have been with us as probationary members. They were supposed to prove they could be peaceful. They were supposed to show they were not dangerous." Jake felt his hands tighten into fists. He made himself relax. Getting angry now would only prove their point. "But what have we seen?" Zexithara continued. "Humans are quick to fight. They argue with our decisions. They make weapons even when we tell them not to. They refuse to follow our peaceful ways." A bird-like creature with bright red feathers raised one wing. "The humans destroyed 3 pirate fleets last month," it said in a high voice. "They said they were protecting trade ships, but they killed thousands of beings. We were protecting innocent people," Jake said. His voice stayed calm even though he wanted to shout. "Those pirates were attacking civilian ships. They were killing families." "Violence is never the answer," said a creature that looked like a walking plant. Its leaves rustled as it spoke. "There are always peaceful solutions if you look hard." "Enough," Jake almost laughed. These aliens had never seen real evil. They lived safe lives in their protected worlds. They had never faced creatures that only understood force. "Let us vote," Zexithara announced. "All those who think humans should be removed from the council, raise your appendage." Jake watched as creature after creature voted against his people. The red bird thing raised its wing. The shell-covered aliens lifted their claws. Even the floating water creatures pressed their tentacles against their tank walls. Only the plant people did not vote. They swayed back and forth, their leaves making soft sounds. "The vote is clear," Zexithara said. Jake could hear satisfaction in its crystal voice. "Humans are no longer welcome in the Galactic Council. You have 72 standard hours to leave all council space." Jake had expected this. His people had prepared for this day. But it still hurt to see so many species turn against them. "Very well," Jake said. He straightened his shoulders and looked around the room. "We will pack our things and go." He started walking toward the big doors. Then he stopped and turned back. "Oh, one more thing," Jake said. His voice was quiet, but everyone could hear him, clearly. "Good luck with the Devourers." The room went completely silent. Even the floating creatures stopped moving in their tanks. The Devourers were ancient monsters from the dark edges of space. Most aliens thought they were just scary stories told to children. The council claimed they had been destroyed long ago, but humans knew better. Human scouts had seen their ships. Human sensors had tracked their movements. The Devourers were real, and they were coming back. "The Devourers are myths," Zexithara said, but its crystal body flickered with uncertain light. "Are they?" Jake asked. "Our long-range sensors have been tracking them for months. Big black ships at the edge of the galaxy, moving closer every day." "Why should we believe human lies?" The redbird creature screeched. Jake pulled out a small device and pressed a button. Images appeared in the air above his head. Dark shapes against the stars. Ships bigger than cities. Ships that looked like they were made of bones and metal twisted together. "These pictures were taken 2 weeks ago," Jake said. "The Devourers have already destroyed the colony on Kepler 442b. They ate everything. The people, the animals, even the plants." Several aliens made worried sounds. The plant people rustled their leaves more quickly. "Our military was stationed there," Jake continued. We tried to stop them. We saved about half the colonists before the planet was consumed. You never reported this, Zexathera said. We tried to, Jake replied. You said our intelligence was unreliable and fear-based. You told us to stop spreading panic. He looked around the room at all the alien faces. Some looked scared now. Others still seemed angry. The Devourers will be here in less than a year, Jake said. Maybe sooner. They remember this galaxy. They remember all the rich worlds here, and they are hungry. Even if this is true, said the shell-covered alien, why should it change our vote? Humans are still too violent for our council. Jake smiled. It was not a nice smile. You are right, he said. We are violent. We fight when we need to fight. We kill when killing is the only way to protect innocent people. You think this makes us monsters? He gestured at the images still floating in the air. But the Devourers do not care about your peaceful ways. They do not want to talk or make treaties, they only want to eat. And when they come, your peaceful philosophy will not save you. Jake turned off the device. The scary images disappeared. But do not worry, he said. You have made your choice. Humans are no longer your problem. We will take our violent ways and leave you in peace. He walked to the doors. This time he did, not stop. Good luck, he said without turning around. You are going to need it. The doors closed behind him with a soft sound. In the council chamber, dozens of alien species sat in uncomfortable silence, wondering if they had just made the biggest mistake in galactic history. Admiral Lisa Carter stood on the bridge of her ship watching the huge display screen. Red dots showed human bases and stations across council space. Green numbers showed how many people were at each location. She had 60 hours left to get everyone out. How many people do we need to move? She asked her aide. 47,000 humans across 17 worlds, Lieutenant Danny Price replied. That includes scientists, engineers, doctors, teachers, and their families. Lisa nodded. It sounded impossible, but humans were good at doing impossible things. Send the word, she said. Operation Going Home starts now. Every human leaves council space. No exceptions. Across the galaxy, humans got the message. On the water world of Mordan Prime, Dr. Peter Hayes was working in his laboratory. He had spent 5 years studying alien diseases. His research had saved millions of alien lives. His assistant, Dr. Amy Foster, ran into the room. Peter, we have to go. The evacuation order just came through. Peter looked at his computer screens. 20 years of research data filled the storage drives. Cures for diseases that killed thousands of aliens every year. Treatments that only he knew how to make. What about the Mordan rot sickness project? Amy asked. We were so close to finishing the cure. Peter's finger moved toward the delete button. The rot sickness killed young Mordan children. Without the cure, thousands would die in the coming years. They made their choice, Peter said quietly. He pressed the button. 20 years of work disappeared in seconds. Pack everything personal. We leave in 4 hours. On the mining world of Kepler 442b, human engineers were shutting down the big machines. The planet's valuable crystals could only be found deep underground. Human technology made it possible to dig safely in the dangerous caves. Engineer Betty Clark watched alien workers standing around broken equipment. Without humans to fix the machines, the mining would stop completely. Ma'am, her partner George, Lee said, the aliens are asking us to leave instructions for maintaining the equipment. Betty almost laughed. Instructions? It took our people 15 years to figure out how to work in these caves. You cannot learn this from a book. She looked at the worried alien faces. These were good people who just wanted to work and feed their families. But orders were orders. Tell them we are sorry, she said. But we have to follow our government's commands. On 17 different worlds, the same scene played out. Human doctors deleted medical files. Human teachers shut down schools. Human engineers removed the modifications they had made to alien machines. Captain Roy Bennett commanded the human fleet that was picking up evacuees. His ships moved from world to world like a perfectly organized dance. No one was left behind. Sir, his communications officer, Lisa Park, said, We are getting messages from alien governments. They want to talk. What kind of messages? Roy asked. Requests for us to stay. Offers of money. Some are begging. Roy shook his head. We have our orders. No contact with council species except for evacuation business. But the messages kept coming. The HFY mining company offered to pay humans triple wages to stay. The Mordam government promised to give humans full citizenship. Even some individual aliens sent personal messages asking their human friends not to leave. Dr. Jenny Walsh had worked with alien children for 3 years. She taught them human mathematics and science. Now she was packing her belongings while alien parents stood outside her school. Please do not go, said Velnari, a crystal being whose daughter was in Jenny's class. Kira loves your lessons. She wants to be a scientist like you. Jenny felt tears in her eyes. These children were not part of the council vote. They had done nothing wrong. I'm sorry, she said. I have to go. But why? Velnari asked. You have done nothing but help us. Jenny could not explain about politics and voting and fear. How could she tell a worried parent that their leaders were afraid of humans? Sometimes adults make decisions that hurt everyone, she said finally. The evacuation continued with military precision. Human cargo ships arrived, at each world right on schedule. People and equipment were loaded quickly and efficiently. The aliens watched in amazement as humans dismantled years of work in just hours. On the industrial world of Xerion Prime, human technicians were shutting down atmosphere processors. These machines made the air breathable for different alien species, who worked together in the factories. The settings are very specific, technician Carl Wright told his alien replacement. If the mixture is wrong, people will die. The insect-like alien clicked its mandibles nervously. Show me how to adjust them. Carl looked at the complex control panel with hundreds of buttons and switches. It takes years to learn this. You need to understand chemistry, atmospheric science, and biology of 17 different species. But what if something goes wrong after you leave? Carl did not answer. He finished packing his tools and walked away. Similar conversations happened everywhere. Aliens suddenly realized how much they depended on human knowledge and skills. Jobs that seemed simple were actually very complex. Systems that ran smoothly needed constant attention from people who understood them. The final evacuation ship was the UES Determination. Captain Susan Martinez watched as the last group of humans boarded. These were the diplomats and official representatives who had tried to build friendship between humans and aliens. All personnel aboard, Captain, reported Chief Martinez. We are ready to leave. Susan looked at the display showing council space. Somewhere out there, aliens were starting to realize what they had lost. But it was too late now. Take us home, she ordered. The ship jumped into hyperspace just as the 72-hour deadline ended. Behind them, 17 worlds suddenly found themselves without the humans who had kept their systems running, their people healthy, and their children learning. The aliens had wanted peace. Now they would learn the difference between peace and helplessness. Council Speaker Zexathara sat in its private chambers reading reports. The crystal walls around it flickered with nervous light. It had been 1 week since the humans left, and everything was going wrong. The first report came from the mining world. Without human engineers, the crystal extraction had dropped by 80%. The alien workers could not figure out how to run the complex machines. 3 miners had died when a tunnel collapsed because they did not know how to read the human safety systems. Zexathara set that report aside and picked up another one. The atmospheric processors on the colony world of New Kepler were failing. The air was becoming poisonous for 2 of the alien species living there. Thousands of families were getting sick. This cannot be happening, Zexathara said to itself. We survived for millions of years before the humans came. But the reports kept coming. Trade routes that humans had organized were now complete chaos. Ships were getting lost because they did not understand the human navigation improvements. Cargo was arriving at the wrong planets or not arriving at all. Defense Minister Korthal of the Hive Mind entered the chamber. Its insect body moved quickly across the floor, which meant it was very worried. Speaker Zexathara, Korthal said, I have urgent news about our defense systems. What kind of news? The frontier sectors are under attack. Pirate fleets are raiding our outer colonies. Without human patrol ships, our defenses have huge gaps. Zexathara felt its crystal body grow cold. How many attacks? 47 in the last 3 days. The pirates are taking everything they can carry and destroying the rest. 2 entire colonies have been abandoned. Another alien entered the room. This was Dr. Veltar, the council's chief scientist. Its blue skin was covered with worried spots. "Speaker, our research programs have stopped working," Veltar said. "The humans were part of every major project. Without their knowledge, we cannot continue most of our studies." "Surely we can figure out their methods," Zexathara said. "No, we cannot. Their approach to science is completely different from ours. They think in ways we do not understand. They see patterns we miss. Many of their discoveries make no sense to us." Zexathara was starting to feel panic. "What about medical research?" "That is the worst part," Veltar replied. "The cure for Mordan rot sickness was almost complete. Now the research is gone. Dr. Hayes destroyed everything before he left." Before Zexathara could respond, another alien rushed into the room. This was Gulnara, representing the water-breathing Mordan people. Its voice bubbled with fear. "My people are dying," Gulnara said. "The atmospheric systems the humans built are breaking down. Our children cannot breathe properly. We need help, immediately." "Can your own engineers fix the systems?" Zexathara asked. "We have tried, but the human modifications are too complex. We do not understand how they work. Every time we try to fix something, we make it worse." Zexathara looked around the room, at the worried faces. Everything was falling apart faster than anyone had expected. "Perhaps we can contact the humans," Dr. Veltar suggested. "Maybe they would help us for the right price." "No," Zexathara said firmly. "We voted them out. We cannot go crawling back to them after 1 week." But even as it spoke, Zexathara knew they might have no choice. The next day brought even worse news. The Kefri bird people were fighting a civil war. Half of them wanted to invite the humans back. The other half said that would prove they were weak and cowardly. The plant people of Silvani had stopped talking to the council completely. They had always been quiet, but now they would not answer any messages. Then came the report that changed everything. Minister Korthal entered the chamber again. This time its movements were slow and frightened. "Speaker," it said quietly, "we have detected unknown ships at the edge of our space." "What kind of ships?" "Large ones. Very large. And their design, it matches the old stories about the Devourers." Zexathara felt its crystal body crack slightly. "That is impossible. The Devourers are myths. The human Jake Morrison warned us about this. He said they were coming. Show me the data." Korthal activated a holographic display. Dark shapes appeared in the air. Ships that looked like they were made of bones and twisted metal. Ships bigger than space stations. "How many?" Zexathara asked in a whisper. "We have found 12 so far, but our sensors suggest there are many more behind them." Zexathara stared at the images. These were not myths or stories. These were real ships heading toward council space. "How long before they arrive?" "At their current speed, they will reach the outer colonies in 6 months. 6 months. Zexathara tried to think of what they could do. The council's military was designed to keep peace between member worlds. They had never faced a real enemy. Their ships were built for patrol duties, not war. The humans had tried to warn them. The humans had offered to help. The humans had even fought these creatures before and won, and the council had thrown them out. "Contact the other council members," Zexathara ordered. "We need an emergency meeting." "Many of them are dealing with their own crises," Korthal replied. "The Mordan are focused on their breathing problems. The Kefri are fighting each other. The mining worlds have no leadership because their economies have collapsed." Zexathara realized the terrible truth. The council was not just facing an external threat. It was falling apart from the inside. Without humans to hold things together, the entire galactic civilization was crumbling. "What about the Silvani?" Zexathara asked. "They abstained from the vote. Maybe they will talk to us." I will try to contact them, Korthal said. But Zexathara already knew what the plant people would say. They had been quiet during the vote. For a reason. They had known this would happen. As the reports continued to pile up, Zexathara finally understood the mistake they had made. They had not expelled dangerous warriors from their council. They had expelled their protectors, and now the real danger was coming. Captain Steve Morgan stood on the observation deck of the human station at the edge of space. Through the big windows, he could see the darkness between galaxies. Somewhere out there, his former alien colleagues were struggling with problems they had created for themselves. Any new reports from Council Space? He asked Lieutenant Mary Johnson. Yes, sir. It keeps getting worse. Mary handed him a data pad. 17 worlds have declared independence from the Council. The Kefri civil war has spread to 3 more planets, and the Mordan homeworld is asking for emergency aid. Steve read the reports with no expression on his face. What kind of emergency aid? Their atmospheric systems are completely failing. The children are dying from breathing poisoned air. They say they will pay anything for human help. Steve felt a tightness in his chest. He had friends on the Mordan homeworld, good people who had treated humans with respect. But orders were orders. Log the request and file it, he said. We are not part of the council anymore. On Earth, President Helen Brooks was meeting with her military advisors. The reports from Council Space covered her desk like fallen leaves. How bad is it really? She asked General Tom Wilson. Worse than we expected, Tom replied. Their entire civilization is falling apart. Trade has stopped, governments are collapsing, and the pirates are having a field day. What about the Devourer threat? Our long-range sensors show at least 50 ships now. They are moving slowly but steadily toward Council Space. The aliens still do not seem to understand what they are facing. Helen picked up a message from the Mordan government. It was written in the formal language of diplomacy, but she could read the desperation between the words. They are begging us to come back, she said quietly. What do you want to do, Madam President? Helen thought about the 3 years of insults and suspicion, the constant questioning of human motives, the fear in alien eyes whenever humans showed any strength. Nothing, she said finally. They made their choice. They said we were too dangerous to be trusted. Let them handle their problems without us. But even as she said it, Helen felt sick. Politics was one thing. Watching innocent people die was another. Meanwhile, in the deep research labs on Mars, Dr. Peter Hayes was trying to forget about his work on Mordan Prime. But every day brought new reports of children dying from the rot sickness he could have cured. His colleague Dr. Amy Foster found him staring at empty computer screens. You could recreate the research, she said softly. You remember most of it. What would be the point? Peter replied. We have no way to get the cure to them. And even if we did, they made it clear they do not want our help. Those children never voted against us. Peter closed his eyes. I know. But I cannot save everyone, especially people whose governments think I am a monster. Back in Council Space, the situation grew worse every day. The Silvani plant people finally broke their silence, but only to deliver terrible news. In the emergency council meeting, the Silvani representative rustled its leaves nervously before speaking. Honored colleagues, it said in its whisper-quiet voice, we must tell you something we learned from the humans before they left. Council Speaker Zexathara leaned forward. What information? The Devourers are not just returning. They are returning because they detected the signals from our expanding civilization. Our growth caught their attention. The room filled with worried sounds from different alien species. How long have you known this? Zexathara demanded. The humans told us 3 months ago. They said the Devourer ships follow communication signals and energy signatures. Our rapid expansion over the last century has been like lighting a beacon. For them. Dr. Veltar made a sound like breaking glass. Why did you not share this information? Because you would not have listened. You were too busy fearing the humans to hear about the real danger. The truth hit the room like a physical blow. The aliens had been so worried about human aggression that they had ignored the actual threat heading toward them. What else did the humans tell you? Zexathara asked. They have been preparing for this for decades. Their military technology, their ship designs, even their aggressive training. All of it was focused on fighting the Devourers. "And we threw them out," whispered Gulnara, the Mordan representative. The meeting dissolved into chaos. Some aliens wanted to immediately contact the humans and beg them to return. Others insisted that would show weakness. A few still claimed the humans had somehow caused the problem on purpose. While the council argued, the crisis deepened. Captain Roy Bennett, monitoring council communications from his human fleet, watched the collapse with professional interest. "Sir," Communications Officer Lisa Park reported, "we are getting 17 distress calls per hour now. Pirates are hitting convoy routes that used to be protected by our patrols. Any word from our government about helping?" "No, sir. The official policy is complete non-involvement." Roy nodded, but he felt troubled. He had spent years protecting those trade routes. He knew the people who worked on those ships, good, honest beings who were now defenseless against raiders. "Sir," Lisa continued, "there is something else. Long-range sensors show the first Devourer scout ships have entered the outer rim of Council space." Roy felt his blood turn cold. Scout ships meant the main fleet was close behind. Once the Devourers established a foothold, they would consume everything in their path. How long before they reach populated worlds? At current speed, maybe 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Roy thought about all the alien families he had met during his service. Children who had drawn him pictures, parents who had invited him to dinner, workers who had thanked him for keeping them safe. Those people had never voted against humans. They had never called humans dangerous. They were just innocent beings who happened to live under governments that made bad choices. "Send a message to Admiral Carter," Roy said quietly. "Tell her we have a situation developing." As the reports continued to pour in, one thing became clear to everyone watching. The Council had not just made a political mistake. They had doomed themselves. And soon, the Devourers would make sure that doom became reality. The aliens had wanted to get rid of dangerous humans. Instead, they had gotten rid of the only people who could save them from real danger. 6 months had passed since the humans left. Council Speaker Zexathera stood in the nearly empty council chamber, looking at rows of vacant seats. Half the member species had either left the council or been destroyed by pirates and civil wars. The chamber that once held representatives from 47 different worlds now had only 12 aliens sitting in the vast space. Their voices echoed strangely in the emptiness. "We must contact the humans," whispered Gulnara, the Mordan representative. Her water tank was smaller now because her people could not afford to maintain the big life support systems. "My homeworld is dying. The children cannot breathe. We have maybe weeks left." "The humans will never help us," Zexthara replied bitterly. "We called them dangerous. We threw them out. Why would they save people who rejected them?" "Because they are better than us," said the Silvani plant being. Its leaves were brown at the edges from stress. They always were. Before anyone could respond, alarms began ringing throughout the chamber. Red lights flashed on every wall. Defense Minister Korthal ran into the room, its insect legs clicking rapidly on the floor. "The Devourers have reached Zerion Prime," Korthal announced. "The entire system is under attack." Zexathera felt its crystal body crack with fear. Zerion Prime was home to 12 billion aliens. It was one of the most important worlds in Council space. "What are our defense fleets doing?" "They tried to fight. The Devourer ships destroyed them in 30 minutes. Our weapons cannot even scratch their hulls." On the main display, images appeared from Zerion Prime. Huge black ships that looked like mechanical monsters were surrounding the planet. Smaller ships were landing on the surface and consuming everything they touched. "How long do we have?" Zexathera asked. "The Devourers will finish with Zerion Prime in 2 days. Then they will move to the next system. At their current pace, they will reach the core worlds in 3 weeks. 3 weeks? Zexathera looked around at the few remaining council members. 3 weeks until the heart of their civilization was destroyed. "Send a message to the humans," Zexthara said quietly. What kind of message? Tell them we surrender. Tell them we were wrong about everything. Tell them we will accept any terms they want if they help us. But before the message could be sent, something unexpected happened. New ships appeared on the sensors, hundreds of them coming from the direction of human space. Are those Devourer reinforcements? Gulnara asked in terror. Korthal checked the readings twice. No, those are human ships. A massive fleet. On Zarian Prime, the battle was going badly. The Devourer ships had landed and were systematically consuming the planet's surface. Millions of aliens were fleeing toward the underground shelters. Then, the human fleet arrived. Admiral Lisa Carter stood on the bridge of her flagship watching the tactical display. The Devourer ships were bigger than anything she had ever seen, but humans had fought them before. All ships, this is Admiral Carter, she said into her communicator. We are here to save innocent lives. Show these monsters what humans do to bullies. The human ships moved with perfect coordination. They had spent months preparing for this moment. Every weapon, every tactic, every strategy was designed specifically to fight Devourers. Captain Roy Bennett led the first attack wave. His ships fired weapons that the Council had never seen before. Plasma cannons that could cut through Devourer armor. Missiles that could track the enemy ships through space. Energy shields that could absorb the Devourer's terrible weapons. Target their feeding tubes, Roy ordered his gunners. Cut off their ability to consume the planet. The battle lasted 18 hours. Human ships darted around the massive Devourer vessels like angry wasps attacking giants. They used speed and intelligence, instead of size and brute force. One by one, the Devourer ships began to fall. Their black hulls cracked and split. Their bone-like structures broke apart. Their mechanical screams echoed across space. When the smoke cleared, the Devourer fleet was destroyed. Zarian Prime was saved, but Admiral Carter was not finished. Her fleet spread out across Council space, hunting down every Devourer ship they could find. The aliens watched in amazement as humans systematically eliminated the threat that had terrified them for months. In the Council chamber, Zexthara watched, the reports with growing shame. Human ships were saving world after world. Human doctors were treating alien wounded. Human engineers were fixing the broken systems that had been failing for months. Jake Morrison walked into the chamber 3 days later. He looked older and more tired than when he had left, but his eyes were still kind. Hello again, he said to the few remaining council members. Zexthara could barely speak. Why did you come back, after everything we did to you? We did not come back to save the council, Jake replied. We came back to save innocent people, children who never voted against us, families who just wanted to live in peace. He gestured toward the empty seats around them. The old council is finished. It died the day you chose fear over friendship. What happens now? Gulnara asked. Now we start over. If you want human help rebuilding, if you want our protection and partnership, then things will be different this time. Jake walked to the center of the chamber where he had stood months earlier. No more treating us like dangerous children. No, more questioning our every decision. We are equals in this new arrangement, or we walk away again. Zexthara looked around at the other survivors. They had learned the hard way that strength without aggression was weakness, that peace without the ability to fight was just helplessness. What are your terms? Zexthara asked. Simple. We work together as partners. We protect each other from real threats. And we never again let fear make us throw away friendship. One by one, the remaining council members agreed. They had no choice, but more importantly, they finally understood the truth. Humans were not dangerous to their friends. Humans were dangerous to their enemies. And in a galaxy full of real threats, that was exactly what everyone needed. The new alliance would be built on respect instead of fear. And this time it would last, because sometimes the most dangerous thing you can do is trust the wrong people to protect you. But the most foolish thing you can do is reject protection when real danger is coming. The galaxy had learned both lessons the hard way.